Looks like Jay-Z might have some explaining to do, y'all. Check this out. So apparently a 28-year-old Maryland woman by the name of Latasha Mosser is claiming to be Hov's, check this out, y'all, long-lost daughter.
Do I believe that Latasha is Jay-Z's first alleged daughter? I do.
I'm so much in running, and it just really dawned on me. It's the man that my mom was underage when she consumed me. Anyone who'd have been older.
This is Oskino. At one time, Oskino was signed to Rockefeller Records, and he was very close to Jay-Z, Damon Dash, and everyone that was signed to Rockefeller at that time. Well, Oskino has sat down and did an interview, and he is alleging that Jay-Z does in fact have multiple other children outside of the children that he has with Beyonce, and he knows this for a fact.
I don't have no felonies. I'm not crazy and none of that. It's like, I just want the truth, and it's so hard to get it from the courts. And it seems like Jay-Z don't want to say anything. So, I don't want to see him go down for something that you could have just got taken care of. That's it.
Rhymir Satterthwaite isn't buying the poor Beyonce story. Not at all. He straight up calls her the enforcer, and he's not speaking in riddles either. Rhymir claims Beyonce's own team tried to buy his silence with hush money, begging him to drop his paternity case against Jay-Z. But when he refused to play along, things allegedly took a dark turn. According to Rhymir, the moment he stood his ground, the tone shifted from quiet deals to full-blown intimidation tactics. He says it got so real, he's now living in fear for his own safety.
So why wouldn't I believe my mom? We could have been settled this, and it only takes a conversation and some words. I'm not a hateful guy. I don't hate anyone. I'm not after nobody. I'm not trying to see no one downfall. But this is just some things that just went through court, and they just expected me to just sit there and just take what they were saying. I can't do that, because
Rhymir, a 31-year-old from New Jersey, has spent years in court trying to prove Jay-Z is his real father. This isn't about money. It's a fight that started long ago. His late mother, Wanda Satterthwaite, swore under oath that Jay-Z, real name Sean Carter, got her pregnant when she was just 16 and he was 22. Her old affidavit, once buried in state files, has now resurfaced in a federal case under Judge Sherilyn Peace Garnett in California. What's new and dangerous is who Rhymir says is behind the pressure. Not lawyers or PR teams, but Beyonce herself. She's always kept her image spotless while Jay-Z's camp labeled Rhymir a clout chaser, but this time he's not backing down. He's naming names, linking threats and hush deals to one of the world's most powerful women. And now, his story isn't just noise. It's gaining momentum fast. There's another alleged child in the mix, 28-year-old Latasha Mosser from Maryland. And she's been saying for years that Jay-Z is her father. Sources claim he's even been quietly paying for her Cambridge home, but under one strict rule, no photos of him allowed inside. Her family backs her story completely. Her aunt swears she introduced Jay-Z to Latasha's mom back in the 90s, recalling party nights that were far from innocent. But through it all, the rumors, the supposed payoffs, the whispers, Jay-Z stays silent. No denial, no DNA test, just lawyers keeping everything locked down tight. And Beyonce? Not a word. No press talk, no response, just silence. But according to Rhymir, that's all part of the plan. He says the quiet isn't peace, it's pressure. He's talking threats, secret watching, and whispered warnings to back off. And in every one of those warnings, the name that keeps popping up is Beyonce.
Beyonce and Jay-Z will do anything to destroy anyone who speaks out against them.
This is where things flip completely. For years, Beyonce has been seen as the strong, heartbroken wife, standing tall through Jay-Z's cheating scandals and even those old rumors about Aaliyah in the late 90s. She turned heartbreak into lemonade, pain into hits, and betrayal into empire. But Rhymir says that whole image might be a cover-up. He claims Beyonce isn't the victim. She's the mastermind, the one making sure Jay-Z's secrets never see the light. And his late mom, Wanda Satterthwaite, spent over 20 years begging for one thing, a paternity test. She listed Jay-Z and an old boyfriend. The other guy tested negative. but Jay-Z refused. By the time the courts caught up, Rhymir had aged out of the law. Jay-Z's lawyers jumped on that loophole, even lying that he didn't own property in New Jersey, which records later proved false. His own lawyer eventually admitted it. So if that's the truth, what else have they been hiding?
I would hope he would think about it and this would be in his mind, but I wouldn't actually know what another person is feeling.
Now the real question is, why go to such extreme lengths just to avoid a simple DNA test? According to people close to the case, it's not about money at all. It's about criminal exposure. If Wanda was truly 16 and Jay-Z was 22 at the time, that opens the door to a whole new level of trouble, way beyond child support or hush deals. That alone could explain why this case seems buried so deep and guarded so tightly. But Rhymir claims there's even more to it. He says after his mother passed away and his godmother Lily Coley became his legal guardian, that's when Beyonce allegedly stepped into the mix. Not in court, not on paper, but behind the scenes. He describes quiet messages, middlemen reaching out, and eventually offers of cash to make the whole thing disappear. Sources who followed the case say Rhymir was even approached with a secret deal. No lawsuit, no media, just walk away and the money will find its way to him. But he refused. And that's when things got scary. The online harassment began, strange cars started showing up, and the warnings got louder. Rhymir says he was told straight up, people who push too hard don't always walk away. Rhymir says that chilling warning didn't just come out of nowhere. It came straight from someone inside Beyonce's inner circle. He's not naming names just yet, but he swears those receipts are coming. And when they do, things could explode. Meanwhile, Latasha Mosser's story is starting to look just as dark. She's been saying for years that Jay-Z is her biological father, and her family's been backing her up with stories that go way back decades. But according to her, she's been locked under a silent deal, one that keeps her comfortable but completely quiet. She allegedly gets her housing and security covered, but the rules are strict. No interviews, no name dropping, and absolutely no proof. Insiders claim none of this is legal paperwork. It's all handled quietly, off the books, through people tied to Roc Nation.
This part is not alleged. Jay-Z and his team, they have been ducking and dodging taking the DNA test.
Jay-Z is acting like none of this exists. He's still showing up at charity galas, launching new projects, and smiling in those perfect family photos with Beyonce and their kids, Blue Ivy, Rumi, and Sir. But behind the glossy smiles, insiders say there's a storm brewing. Back in May, Rhymir fired back with a new lawsuit, not for money, but for damages. He's calling out emotional trauma, reputation loss, and what he says is a cover-up run by Jay-Z's team. He even claims they faked legal arguments to dodge the truth. Jay-Z's lawyers call it all nonsense, a desperate scheme for attention and cash. They're pushing to have it thrown out. But if it's all fake, why are the court filings growing? Why are records sealed? And why does Rhymir still fear for his life?
So what happens now is this is simply a civil complaint. And in a civil complaint, it goes through the technical legal process. Now, the distinction, Jessica, between civil and criminal, of course, is that civil is for monetary damages, right? The system can only reward you with money. There's allegations that this 13-year-old is suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder, suffered depression, etc. So now you go to fact-finding, right?
Insiders whisper this might be way bigger than one paternity case. Sources say it could tie into wider legal trouble swirling around Jay-Z's circle. Earlier this year, his name showed up in a civil complaint with longtime friend Sean Diddy Combs, both accused in a 2008 VMA after-party incident involving an unnamed minor. Jay-Z's team fired back fast, calling it blackmail and demanding real charges if there's truth to it. But the timing looks shady. One case reopens, another pops up, and somehow Rhymir's name keeps slipping into the mix. Now people are asking, where does Beyonce fit in? Not as a bystander, but maybe as a power player. If Rhymir's right, this isn't just a hidden child story. It's a full-blown silencing machine. Every move, every threat, every bit of pressure feels planned. And at the center of that machine, Rhymir says, stands one woman, Beyonce, the queen of control.
I know so much on how you got where you are, how you stepped on many people
The flawless image of Beyonce, loyal wife, powerful performer, untouchable icon, is starting to crack. And it's not gossip fueling it. It's coming from Rhymir, the man claiming she tried to silence him. He says when money didn't work, fear did. And when fear failed, the threats got personal. The contrast is wild. Jay-Z preaches justice while Beyonce sings empowerment to packed arenas. Yet Rhymir says behind that spotlight lies a darker truth. 2 hidden children, silenced and erased to protect an empire. Now he's speaking up, naming names, connecting dots, and threatening to blow up the perfect Carter brand. He claims this goes beyond paternity. It's about Beyonce using power to rewrite history. And if even part of it's true, the fallout could be massive, from legal danger to brand collapse. Rhymir says the queen didn't just rise through talent, she ruled through intimidation, and now he's calling her out by name.
And it was pretty much said like Jay doesn't really want awards. Well, he go to the Grammys.
Right.
He you know, come into the black-owned spaces. Let's figure out how to work together so that way we have the relationship when it matters, not when it's convenient for you and your image. Because they all call us when the story is up that they don't like.
If Rhymir's story sounds too wild to believe, take a closer look. Because every single scandal tied to Jay-Z seems to trace back to one word: control. Control over the story, control over the courts, control over anyone who dares to threaten the Carter empire. We've seen lawsuits disappear into thin air, court records suddenly get sealed, and witnesses go completely silent right when the pressure heats up. And that's no coincidence. Rhymir's own legal team even got caught up in the chaos. They were accused of misleading the court, claiming Jay-Z didn't own any property in New Jersey, even though public records proved otherwise. And according to Lily Coley, Rhymir's godmother and legal guardian, that was just the start of something much bigger. She says there's been a carefully crafted pattern of deception, all designed to keep one thing off the table: a court-ordered DNA test. But insiders close to the situation whisper that none of this heavy-handed control happens without the approval of the one person powerful enough to make it all stick: Beyonce.
Fallout with the Beyonce, she's just kind of in the crosshairs because of all of what's going on in the media with respect to Jay-Z and stuff. But with Jay, you know, when he complained at the Grammys about the Grammys not giving Beyonce Artist of the Year, when she's the most decorated Grammy-winning artist ever, we invited him to be honored at our award show. Mm-hmm. So it's like, okay, we have a black-owned award show. We've honored you in the Breakfast Club. We've honored...
Beyonce's name isn't on any court file, and she's saying nothing. But insiders claim her silence speaks loud. Behind that calm image sits a network of lawyers and companies, all built to protect one thing: the Carter legacy. The deeper it gets, the clearer it looks. This isn't about paternity anymore, it's about empire control. Sources say Beyonce runs things from the top, making moves like a strategist, while Rhymir claims he's being watched and warned. Around the same time, Jay-Z's name appeared in another civil case linked to an alleged 2000 assault, the same scene where Diddy now faces accusations of trafficking and abuse. Diddy's empire has already crumbled: arrests, raids, destroyed reputation. But Jay-Z's fighting hard, calling it all blackmail, daring anyone to take it to criminal court. He's standing firm, saying his family's watching and there'll be no hush money here. Still, as the world watches Diddy fall, Rhymir insists the Carters are fighting quietly behind the scenes, doing everything to stop their billion-dollar kingdom from cracking.
I think that they don't want, if they was in any of those freak-off tapes, if they played a part in any of those Diddy sessions, they don't want it to get out to the general public to make up their brand.
This is where everything starts to fall apart. Beyonce's image has always been about power, the face of strength, motherhood, activism, and justice. She's a billionaire mogul, a mother of 3, and a cultural icon who once stood on the Super Bowl stage in Black Panther symbolism, shouting that Black Lives Matter. But now, critics are asking, which Black lives? Because if Rhymir and Latasha are telling the truth, their existence was allegedly erased to keep Beyonce's image spotless. No acknowledgement, no word, just silence, as if they never existed at all. Anyone who follows her knows how tightly she controls her world. Every photo, post, and public moment. Her team doesn't just manage her, they engineer perception. And that's why these accusations sting. According to Rhymir, the biggest threat hasn't been Jay-Z's lawyers. It's been Beyonce's silence. He says she's not staying quiet. She's directing the response. When money couldn't shut him up, fear took over. Rhymir claims her people didn't come to make peace. They came to pressure him into silence.
With Beyonce, it's just a weird thing because I do love her so much, and I would never ever want to do anything to hurt her or her image because she's important to us. But it's just a weird thing right now. Like I love Beyonce still.
Rhymir says the pressure hit fast. Online attacks, strange calls, cars watching from the street, the kind of intimidation that doesn't come from random trolls, but from people guarding billions. And it's not just him. Latasha Mosser says she's facing the same quiet control. Her aunt swears Jay-Z's her father. Her family calls it a real relationship, not a fling. Sources claim Jay-Z's still covering her Maryland mortgage, but the price is silence. No photos, no mentions, not even a hint of his face anywhere.
Because, I really wanted to find out who my father was, and for the case not to go how I was planning it, I really thought it was going to go different than...
Lily Coley says Jay-Z's legal team played the system, twisting laws, sealing records, and filing false claims just to dodge a DNA test. Every so-called win came with silence, cases dismissed, Wanda's affidavit buried, and refilings shut down before they even started. But one question still screams for an answer. Why no DNA test? If he's innocent, a quick cheek swab ends it all. Instead, there are quiet settlements, secret payouts, and hit jobs to wreck Rhymir's name. That's not justice, that's damage control. And Rhymir swears Beyonce isn't just watching, she's helping run it. Rhymir calls Beyonce the architect, the one running the whole show. As he pushes his federal case forward, she's gearing up for another world tour, new visuals, and million-dollar deals. The queen of reinvention always stays ahead, but insiders say behind the glossy perfection, there's panic. Because if one court ever forces Jay-Z to take that DNA test, everything could collapse. If even one child is proven his, every sealed file, every payoff, every buried truth becomes public record. And let's not forget Wanda, Rhymir's late mother. She swore under oath she was just 16 when she met Jay-Z. She died in 2019 without answers, but her words live on in affidavits and recordings now sitting before Judge Sherilyn Peace Garnett in California. Then there's Latasha. Quiet online now, but once boldly posted, everyone knew he was my father. And Lily Coley, who says she's been harassed and silenced just for defending Rhymir's right to know his identity. He said it from the start. This isn't about money, it's about truth and who controls it. So if the Carters have nothing to hide, why spend millions defending nothing? And if Beyonce's innocent, why are people whispering that she's the one making the threats?
Apartment building, and they did what they did in there, talked a little bit, had a good time, party, and I guess I can't fully talk as my mom because I'm not my mom. I'm just telling you guys what she told me. It was this, and I honestly just believe it. It's just no doubt in my mind that I believe, and my mom wouldn't just.
The contradictions just keep stacking up. Beyonce, the face of empowerment, accused of threatening women behind closed doors. Jay-Z, the voice of justice, allegedly dodging the simplest truth, a DNA test. Rhymir swears he never wanted fame, just answers. But now that the world knows his name, he says he's done being scared. According to him, Beyonce's intimidation no longer works, and he's ready to fight till the end. If that's true, the Carter dynasty could be staring down more than bad press. They could face depositions, public records, and real accountability. This isn't about attention anymore. It's about decades of silence and the people forced to keep it. So what happens if Rhymir won't back down? What if a judge finally orders what Jay-Z's avoided all along? One cheek swab, one paternity test. That's all it would take. One test. But instead, we're seeing legal gymnastics, quiet deals, and rumors that the most powerful woman in the world is making problems vanish. Only now, those problems are speaking louder than ever. Rhymir says he's not backing down, but if his story ends like the others, silenced or gone, the world might never know what Beyonce was really protecting. So what do you think? Is this the collapse of the Carter Empire, Or just another wild conspiracy running too deep? Drop your thoughts below, hit like, subscribe, share, and keep the convo going. In the world of fame, power, and billion-dollar secrets, the truth is always the first thing to disappear. See you on the next one.